It's obvious that there are Bruce Lee haters. Yes, many of them like to call you or myself, those people who admire Bruce Lee, a fanboy. It doesn't matter. I don't care about the attacks, on me supporting someone that was relevant in my life, especially in the martial arts, and that is Bruce Lee. Had it not been for Bruce Lee, I would have never even partook in the martial arts on the level in which I did. And I'm not the only one that has this testimony. Hundreds of thousands of people and even millions of people can say the same thing. Bruce Lee changed the world as it relates to martial arts. He opened up the door for martial arts popularity across the globe, more than it had ever experienced. All of this was due to him surfacing from Asia, from China, more proper. Now, what gets me is these guys that keep saying that Bruce Lee didn't compete in tournaments and that he never won a championship. And where are the documented fights that Bruce Lee had that would validate his ability as a martial artist? It's plenty of witnesses that have already stated how good Bruce Lee was and his martial arts prowess, as it were. Many actors, many celebrities that were close to him, some his students. He had martial arts instructors that he taught. And he had people that were just martial artists in general that he taught as well and influenced on top of that. They can all attest for Bruce Lee's ability. Superhuman fast, some would say. Extraordinary, very gifted, above his time. Jun Rhee, Grandmaster Jun Rhee, Taekwondo master who's passed now, said that he would never get in the ring with Bruce Lee. That's how fast he was. He and Bruce Lee became friends. But I don't think he was just making that statement just because they were friends. He saw that in Bruce Lee. He saw the legitimacy of Bruce Lee as a martial artist. Ed Parker saw it. Ed Parker Sr. So much so that he invited Bruce Lee as a guest to his tournament in 1967. He recognized Bruce Lee as an indomitable force, if you will. Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, basketball player, who also became a student of Bruce Lee's, he talked about how phenomenal Bruce Lee was as an instructor and a martial artist. And the list goes on and on and on. James Coburn, actor, studied karate, and he was under Bruce Lee as a student. And he said he was really, really fast. Jim Kelly, martial artist and actor. Joe Louis, martial artist and even actor. James DeMille, Richard Bustillo, Dan Inosanto. Mike Tyson said that Bruce Lee was a killer. He was a boxer. Do you think he was lying and not telling the truth about Bruce Lee? Was he not a legitimate fighter or boxer, Mike Tyson? And he made this statement himself. Even Sugar Ray Leonard made a similar statement about how good Bruce Lee was, his agility, his ability. Richard Chung, who studied Wing Chun under Yip Man, he was one of Yip Man's students. He was teaching Bruce Lee Wing Chun, and he himself said that Bruce Lee inspired him from the standpoint that Bruce Lee wanted to stick to the basics until he perfected them before he accepted any more training or any more new material from William. So what does this mean? Are all of these people delusional? Do they not know? Or did they not know what they were talking about? What about Leo Fong? He talked about how good Bruce Lee was as a martial artist. And as I said, the list goes on and on and on. And even Bruce Lee's friend Jim Kelly and co-actor in Enter the Dragon, he made the statement in an interview more than one time. He said, "You just don't know how good Bruce Lee was." He said, "People just don't know." He said he has beat people who are alive today, and they know he beat them in a sparring match, beat them badly. He said because of his respect for these other martial artists, he wouldn't mention their names. Now God rest his soul. Jim Kelly. Are you saying that Jim Kelly didn't know what he was talking about? All of these people who made all of these positive accolades about the late legendary Bruce Lee, were they lying? Were they delusional, as I said? Or were they just simply telling the truth, telling it like it is and like it was? So what's wrong with these people that are saying that Bruce Lee was not worth his weight in gold, that he was simply an actor, that he was overrated? Now, you know, I digress. I've said this in time past before. As much as I love Bruce Lee, I said during the time that he was living that there were some that were great as he was, or even better. But Bruce Lee was the only one that surfaced. He wasn't a sports martial artist. He was a real martial artist, a fighter. Not to say that the sports guys, none of them were real fighters. But Bruce Lee only focused on fighting, not sport martial arts. And there's a fine line between the two. So it's funny that the sports martial arts guys are always trying to measure Bruce Lee from that standpoint as opposed to being a fighter. Bruce Lee had literature on fighting. He had over 2,000 books in his library on fighting. He studied, and he was relentless in his studies. He has books that have been published on fighting. What about all of these people who are talking about him? Do they have these type of things that they've accomplished? I think not. It's easy to talk about a man 40-something years after he's been gone, dead and gone. But you wouldn't say this stuff to his face when he was living. So what does that say about you, Bruce Lee haters? You have a highly inflated ego, but it doesn't change the truth. It doesn't change the fact that Bruce Lee is legitimate. He was the greatest martial artist of our time during his time when he lived and was still with us. That's it. And that is all. On live Bruce Lee's legendary life. That was it.